So, hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever part you are watching us. Welcome to the daily market analysis. This is a busy week, and we're expecting the market to be very volatile. So, looking at last week, we had the NFP. So, last week we had non-farm payrolls. And looking at the data last week, looking at the fundamentals, we're going to start with the fundamentals. Last week we had the non-farm payrolls. So, non-farm payrolls. We saw some kind of data came out, and we saw the dollar index spiking up and down. So, but looking at the data, we had the average earnings came in positive for the dollar. So we expected 0.3, but it came 0.5. So that's meant it was good for the dollar. So 0.5 from 0.3, as you can see from the data. So also something else that we saw is that non-farm employment change, we saw some revisions. So we saw some revisions from the January data. That's why you can see we had some spikes in the market. And looking at the revisions, you can see that the NFP was revised higher. So from 256, we saw a revision to 307. So it was about 40K. So keeping that in mind, we can see also we had an unemployment rate. So looking at an unemployment rate, also we saw unemployment rate decreasing from 4.1% at 4.0. So what does it mean for the dollar index? So for the dollar index, it means we are very strong on the dollar index. So looking at this data, so regarding the non-farm employment change, we saw some revisions, but we saw it being revised higher. So it means like we had some spike in the market, but we saw the market, we saw the dollar index strengthening. So let's try to look at the technicals to see what we are going to expect. Also looking at this week, fundamentals analysis, we were expecting to have the CPI. So today on Monday, we don't have any high impact news. So tomorrow, I'll be having the Bank of Japan bank holiday. So also be having the Bank of England governor, the will be speaking tomorrow, that is on February 11. Also we'll be having Fed chair, that is Powell. Jerome Powell will be speaking at the New York session. So you can see expecting central bank speeches this week, that is tomorrow. So then on Wednesday, we have the CPI. Talking about the CPI, we're looking on inflation. So we'll be interested to see if the inflation will it increase, will it decrease, so that we can expect for the rate hike or the rate cut on the DXY, on the US economy, particularly the US economy. So looking at that, you can see also we having on Wednesday, Fed Chair Powell will be speaking also. That is a New York session. Thursday, we'll be having NZD news, that is inflation expectation. We're having the pound news, that is GDP. Or we also be having the Swiss news, that is the CPI. And also we'll be having the PPI. Also, we'll be having an employment case. That is on Thursday, but on Friday, we'll be having the retail sales. So this is a busy week, as we expect a major news event to happen. So looking at the technicals, going on to the technicals, try to look at the possible setups. So looking at the technicals, we can start with the idea of the DXY, and looking at the DXY from a higher time frame. So looking at DXY from a higher time frame, that is on daily time frame. So we can see this region where we said about NFP last week. Last week we saw a spike of downside. So when you come on the H1 time frame, you can see those spikes of NFP. And we have said that data was revised on the NFP report. So we saw a spike down, then we saw market closing above 50 EMA. That's on a daily time frame. So what are you expecting on the DXY? So for the DXY, looking at the metrics, we saw last week NFP report. So I know some of us doesn't know how to analyze the NFP report, but you can see we had some deviations in the market. So we had some division, that's something we have looked, we had some divisions in the market. And also, we have seen that the average earnings increased. The average earnings increased, but also looking at the unemployment rates, looking at also unemployment rate, we saw the unemployment rate decreases. That means positive for the dollar. So what do we be expecting on this week, DXY? Be expecting to see DXY continuing with the upward trend. Be expecting for the DXY to continue with the upward trend all the way to this region, all the way to the previous highs. That is where we interested for us to target these DXY. So that region is where we interested for us to see the DXY going. So that's the idea of the DXY. That's the idea of the DXY. We have seen these DXYs has been held very well by the 50 EMA, that is on daily time frame. We'll be looking for more setups for the DXY upward. So that is it. So looking at the major pairs, starting to look at the major pairs, we can start with the GBP USD. GBP USD, which is, so the GBP USD, and looking at the GBP USD, you can see we are in a strong downward trend. So the market is making lower highs and lower lows, still a strong downward trend. But also we saw last week the Bank of England cutting their rates. So what does it mean for the GBP USD? So you've been seeing most of the central banks have been cutting their rates. So we saw the ECB cutting their rates. We also saw the Bank of England cutting their rates. So we have been seeing the Bank of Canada cutting their rates. So we have been seeing a lot of our central banks have been cutting their rates. So, but looking at the dollar, looking at the USD, we saw the rates remaining unchanged. So we saw remaining unchanged. And also we saw a rate hike that is on the back of Japan, the BOJ. So looking at the analysis of the GBP USD, so we are in a strong downward trend. So looking on the lower time frame, that is on H1 time frame. Coming to look at the H1 time frame. So coming to look at the H1 time frame, where we speculating for the market for us to position ourselves. So we are very bullish on the DXY. So it'll be interested for us to get to look for opportunities to sell. That is on these group one pairs. So we decided to look at this market at the 50 EMA, where we have the crossover between the 50 EMA and the 200 EMA, for us to find the opportunities to sell these GBP USD pair. And looking at this point, is where you can see we have a structure that is on H1 time frame. Will be tested for us to look for opportunities to sell GBP USD. So another pair we can look is Euro USD. And also looking at Euro USD, you can see the market today has opened with the gaps. Also today I've seen the market has opened with a gap, but the market have corrected that gap very nicely. So we'll be tested to see some opportunities at the 50 EMA. This region will be tested for us to look for opportunities for further sales. That is on Euro USD. So another pair we can check is AUD USD. The AUD USD, also looking from a higher time frame, you can see most of these trades with the idea of what we talked last week. This trade has been head up by these EMAs. We tested for us to see a break and a retest for us to position ourselves on these group one pairs. So we tested to see this market closing below 200 EMA and a retest, so that we can look for opportunities for us to sell AUD USD. So another pair we can check is NZD USD. So NZD USD, you can see the market is approaching to the 50 EMA, and be interested for us to look for a candlestick confirmation. So for us to align ourselves with this sell trade on NZD USD. So and I can see we have been a very clean M pattern. Seen a very clean M pattern in this region. So you're seeing market is approaching at the neckline. You see the market is approaching at the neckline. So at this region where you have 50 MA is very interested for us to look for the sell opportunities, but with the help of the candlestick confirmation. But also you can see the EMA is being held up by the market is being held up by EMA. So when entering a trade at this point, you should make sure that your stop loss is very tight. So that is it on the group one pairs. So looking at the group two pairs, we have the group two pairs, we have the USD CHF, and also looking at the USD CHF. So last week the market being held up by the 50 MA. We saw the NFP coming up and very strong for the DXY. We're expecting for more bullishness on USD CHF. We're expecting for more bullishness on the USD CHF. So what are we waiting for this trade? We're expecting for this trade to give us some pullbacks. We're waiting for this trade to give us some pullbacks so that we can enter this trade for a buy. So where are we waiting for this trade? So this trade will be waiting at it at the 50 MA, that is on H1 time frame, for us to see the break of structure, for us to look for the buy opportunities. And last time we talked about the idea of these trades coming all the way to the previous highs. So when you get an entry, you can target all the way to the previous highs. So that is a USD CHF. So today, checking another pair we can check is a USD JPY. And talking about the idea of the JPYs. So the JPYs, basically the Japan economy has been strengthening, looking at the positive wage growth. Looking at the positive wage growth, we've been seeing the Japan economy has been strengthening. So last week we saw a strong data on the Japan. That's why we've been seeing the N pairs gaining. So looking at the USD JPY, so we just had to get some pullbacks. And we just had to get some pullbacks. To the 200 EMA. We just had to get some pullbacks at the 200 EMA for me to look for opportunities to sell. That is on a USD JPY. So USD JPY is a special currency on its own because you can see the USD is strengthening. You can see the USD strengthening, and also you can see the Japan is strengthening. So looking at this pair, so you've been seeing USD is gaining and the yen is gaining. So what are we expecting on this pair? So this pair is expecting for me to look at an entry at the 200 EMA, but I'm not interested with the USD JPY for now than the other JPYs. So I'll be interested to look at the pound GBP JPY and I'll be started to look at the CHF JPY. So we're looking at them in a few, but for this one, I'll be interested to look for the opportunities at the 200 EMA for me to look for possible entries for sales. So that is it on USD JPY. So looking at another pair, we can check for the group two pairs we have is a USD CAD. USD CAD, it is. So looking at the USD CAD, the higher time frame, you can see the market has been held up at that 50 EMA, and you can see the market is closing above 50 EMA. So for me, I'm interested to look for the buy opportunities. That is on a dollar CAD. I'm interested to look for the buy opportunities on the USD CAD. So I'm interested to see this market coming to retest at the 50 MA level. That is on H1 time frame for me to look for the opposite opportunities for buys all the way to the previous highs. So that's regarding the major pairs. So group one pairs, I'll be looking for sell opportunities. Group two pairs, I'll be looking for the buy opportunities. So that is it on the majors. Looking at the group three pairs, looking at the group three pairs, we have the GBP CAD. And the idea of this trade we talked about, we'll be looking for the sell opportunities. So we talked about the idea of this trade where we enter this trade at this region. And we have been seeing this trade has been selling very well. We've been seeing this trade in this region. We took an entry at this point. So then on Friday, we saw the market spiking all the way to the stop and box. So that was a good entry. So also today, we decided to see this market at the 50 MA. We get like an entry at that region. The idea of a candlestick confirmation, we'll be looking for the sell opportunities. Looking at this trade on the higher time frame. So looking at this trade on the higher time frame, you can see the market has been selling massively. So you can see the market has been selling the high impulsive moves. So we started to see some pullbacks and the continuation for sets all the way to these lows. I'm interested for this market to come out there to these lows. So another trade we can check is GBP AUD. And checking the GPPUD, you can see the market came in and broke very well the region. The 50 MA where speculated last week. You can see the market gave us a pullback. So I decided to see this market coming all the way to the 200 EMA. And looking at this trade on the H1 time frame, you can see if you can get pullback. We have seen the market opened the gap all the way to the yesterday's highs to the 800 EMA. So the market have sold very well. So I'll be interested to see this market coming to the 50 EMA for me to look for the opportunities to sell. I'll be interested to see this market come out of that region for me to look for opportunities for further sales. So that is it on GBP AUD. So another trade we can check is GBP CHF. And talking about the GBP CHF, this is one of the trade we have talked for some time. We are avoiding this trade because of the consolidation move. You can see it projecting. So we've been seeing this trade as been a consolidation. So this one of the trade we'll be avoiding. So another trade we can check is NZD GBP-NZ. And also we talked about the idea from last week. We're seeing this trade be looking for opportunities to sell. Looking at this trade also, the spreading for this trade give us an entry at 50 MA, 800 MA for last position of ourselves for sales. So yeah, we're targeting for this trade. So this trade will be targeting all the way to these lows, targeting this trade all the way to these lows. The previous hold, the previous low, that is where we're targeting for these trades, and also at the 200 EMA. So that is a GBP-NZ. So another trade we can check is the euros. And talking about the euros, have the euro card. And talking about the euro card, we can see also this one of the trade has been selling very, very well, massively. So for this trade also, we'll be expecting for this to give us some pullbacks for us to position ourselves on a sell. So this is one of the trades we'll be looking for the long-term sales. And I decided to see this market coming on the way to the previous to the 50 MA for us to position ourselves for ourselves. That is a euro card. So checking another euro is a euro EUD. Talking about the euro EUD, you can see the market has opened a very long candle, a very, very long candle. So you can see that the sellers and control the market. So for this one, it is interested to see some pullback at the 50 MA for us to position ourselves for a sell. So that is a euro AUD. So another trade we can check is JPYs. Another trade we can check is the JPY, the yen pairs. Talking about the yen pairs, we have the GBP JPY. So about talking the so at the start of the video was to talk about the yen pairs. So when talking about the yen pairs, we can see this market on the daily time frame. We saw this market being headed up by the EMAs. We had being headed up by the 200 EMA, by the 50 EMA. We saw this point as a strong resistance feature. So looking at the seasonality and looking at the trend and looking how the countries are performing, so you can see that the yen, you can see the Japan is gaining. So the Japan economy is gaining. So looking at this pair, I'll be looking for the for long-term sales. I'll be started to look for long-term sales that is on the GBP JPY. So what am I waiting at this point? So I'll be expecting to get some pullbacks. I'll be expecting to get some pullbacks. So at the 50 MA, if the market will present opportunities, I'll be looking for the sell opportunities. That is on yen pairs, that is on GBP JPY. So also another JPY you can check is Euro JPY. And also checking about the Euro JPY, you can see these markets have been moving like crazy. So what are we expecting on these yen pairs? So for these yen pairs, I've been expected to see some pullbacks. I've expected to see some pullbacks so that I can look for opportunities for sell. And talking about the holding these trades, talking about holding of this trade, you should look at the swaps. For instance, I'll be looking for a swing trade on CHF JPY. So looking at the CHF JPY, you can see looking at the interest rate differentials. So this is what is happening on look opportunity for the CHF JPY. So CHF JPY. JPY. So I'm interested to look at the interest rate differentials. So we can see that the interest rate for the Swiss is 0.5 and the yen is 0.3. So for instance, if I short this trade, I'm not going to have any negative swaps. So, but also when looking at the GPP JPY, so if you want a swing trade for the APS, I recommend entering CHF JPY. So for instance, looking at the GPP JPY, you can see like the GPP has a high interest rate differentials comparing to the yen. So that's why you find yourself when selling GPP JPY, you're going to have negative swaps. You're going to have negative swaps, and I can just imagine if you are having a big account and you don't know about the taking advantage of the interest rate differentials can cost you because of the swaps. So I'll be interested to look at the CHF JPY for a swing trade. Interested to see CHF JPY coming on there to the 50 MA. Look if I get an opportunity at this trade. So if I not get an opportunity at the 50 MA, I'd be interested to see this market coming on the way to this 200 EMA for me to look for further sell that is on a CHF JPY. So this is one of the trade I've seen monitoring. That is on a CHF JPY. So another pair we can check is the metals. So and coming to look at the metals. So right now I'm very bullish on the gold. I'm very bullish on gold right now. And looking at the seasonality, looking at the trends, and also looking at the COT filing, you can see that the big boys talking about the big institutions, talking about the banks, talking about the hedge funds. So you can see the institutional money flow that they are longing at gold. So I'd be interested to see some pullbacks on gold. And I've been talking about the idea of this gold coming all the way to test at this region to look for swing trade, but also for the intraday trades, I'll be looking if you can get some setups for break and elevators for me to look for opportunities for me to buy that is on gold trade. So that is it on gold. Gold, I'll be looking for opportunities to buy. And looking at the silver, also you can see this trade on the higher time frame. So we talked the idea of this trade coming and breaking at that previous highs and laterals for further buys. Also, I'm very interested to look for opportunities to buy that is on the silver trade. We'll get on a setup, the silver trade. I'll be updating on our community group. So that is it on the metals. So another trades we can check is stock indices. And talking about the stock indices for now, very neutral on these pairs. Right now, very neutral on these pairs because we've been expecting for this market to break above these highs to look for further opportunities for buys. But also we can see this market has been revolving at the 50 MA. So right now, very neutral on these stock indices, looking at the S&P 500, also looking at the NASDAQ, and also looking at the USD30. So for these trades, for now, I'm very neutral on them. These on stock indices. But be interested to see this market coming over to the lows to see if I can get for some entries. That is only stock indices. For now, I'm very neutral on them. So looking at the Bitcoin also can see the Bitcoin came and broke the 50 MA. You can see also nothing is presenting on the Bitcoin trade. So for now, I will avoid the cryptos and the stock indices for now. So I'll be focusing on the metals and the currencies. So checking another pair is the oil. So checking at the oil, you can see what we speculated from last week. So you said that if you see some breakdown and retesting and this region where you have the 50 MA, I'll be looking for setups to sell on oil trade. So right now, nothing is presented on the oil trade. So that is the analysis for the today. That's the analysis for today. So let us meet tomorrow at the same time and the same place. So also this is disclaimer. This is not for financial advice, but for the educational purposes. So do your due diligence and use proper risk management. See you tomorrow, the same time and the same place. Bye bye.